Imagine standing on the precipice of destiny, the entire world at your feet, not yet old enough to legally rent a car in some countries. Imagine being deemed the best, your name etched into history alongside legends, at an age where most are just finding their footing. It was December 18, 2001. In the opulent salons of Paris, a golden orb was presented, not to a seasoned veteran, nor a player in the twilight of their career, but to a fresh-faced, almost boyish striker from Liverpool, Michael Owen. The Ballon d'Or. At just 22 years old, he had ascended to football's most coveted individual prize, becoming the youngest player to achieve the honor since a certain Ronaldo Nazario. The decision sent ripples across the footballing world, a powerful testament to a year of audacious brilliance that saw him lead his club to a historic treble of cup victories, crowned by a breathtaking hat-trick against Germany in their own fortress. This wasn't just a trophy, it was a coronation, an acknowledgement of a phenomenon whose arrival felt less like an emergence and more like a cataclysm. He wasn't just scoring goals, he was rewriting the very definition of a striker, embodying a blend of electrifying pace, predatory instinct, and unshakable self-belief that left opposition defenders perpetually trailing in his wake, wondering if they were truly facing a human opponent or some meticulously engineered blur of motion. The game, for Michael Owen, was played at a different frequency, a higher tempo, a relentless pursuit of the final third where his devastating impact felt not merely inevitable, but almost preordained. He wasn't just a scorer, he was an executioner, delivering the final, fatal blow with surgical precision. Long before the golden glow of the Ballon d'Or, the raw, unrefined brilliance of Michael Owen was a whispered secret among youth coaches, a phenomenon brewing in the academies of Merseyside. His journey wasn't about slowly honing a craft, it was about unleashing a pre-existing force. From the moment he first laced up his boots, it was clear, this was a player sculpted for speed. His acceleration wasn't merely fast, it was an explosive burst, a physics-defying launch from a standing start that left defenders anchored to the turf while he was already halfway to goal. Biomechanical analysis later revealed a stride pattern of remarkable efficiency, almost frictionless, translating every ounce of his power directly into forward propulsion. He didn't run, he rocketed, propelled by a seemingly endless reservoir of kinetic energy. This wasn't merely practice-honed athleticism, it felt like an inherent, almost genetic gift, a natural phenomenon manifesting on the football pitch. His competitive debut for Liverpool's senior team in 1997, at a tender 17 years old, was a mere prelude, yet it offered a glimpse of the storm to come, as he netted against Wimbledon with the cool precision of a seasoned marksman. It was clear then that he was no ordinary talent. He didn't just break into the first team, he detonated onto it, establishing himself not as a future prospect, but as an immediate, undeniable present force. The records tumbled, almost as swiftly as he left defenders sprawling. At Liverpool, his early prolificacy was staggering. Michael Owen became the youngest player in the club's storied history to score 100 goals, reaching the milestone faster than legends whose careers spanned decades. This wasn't just a statistical anomaly, it was a testament to a young man playing a grown man's game with an astounding level of impact and consistency, a feat that underscored not just his ability, but a relentless drive that seemed almost out of place for his age. His early career wasn't a slow burn, it was a supernova, radiating heat and light that captivated fans and terrified opponents in equal measure. Every touch, every darting run, every clinical finish was a confirmation of a truly unique athletic specimen, a player who seemed to defy the very constraints of physical development, performing at an elite level while still very much a teenager. Beyond the raw, breathtaking speed, Owen possessed an equally potent weapon, an almost supernatural footballing intelligence. His instincts were razor-sharp, a finely tuned radar that allowed him to predict passes, anticipate defensive errors, and time his runs with an exquisite precision that often made him appear clairvoyant. He didn't just run into space, he conjured it, bending the very fabric of the defensive line to create pockets for his devastating dashes. This wasn't merely good positioning, it was a profound understanding of the game's unfolding narrative, the ability to read chapters ahead of his adversaries. He had an innate ability to smell blood, to sense the slightest hesitation in a defender, the fraction of a second when a pass might be underhit, and capitalize on it with ruthless efficiency. This spatial awareness was complemented by an unshakable confidence, particularly under the most crushing pressure. Whether it was a vital league match, a European knockout tie, or the grandest stage of international football, Owen consistently delivered when it mattered most. He was fearless, a characteristic born not of bravado, but of an absolute self-belief in his own capabilities. He thrived on the intensity, the noise, the weight of expectation. In those moments, his clarity of thought and execution seemed to sharpen rather than dull. This mental fortitude, combined with his physical gifts, made him an unstoppable force, a player who not only created chances for himself but converted them with a chilling calmness that belied his youth. Consider the 1998 World Cup in France. A global stage, the eyes of billions, and an England team facing perennial rivals Argentina in a high-stakes knockout game. Just 18 years old, Michael Owen received the ball near the halfway line, shrugged off a challenge, and embarked on one of the most iconic individual goals in World Cup history. He weaved through the Argentinian defense, leaving world-class players grasping at thin air, before unleashing an unstoppable shot past the goalkeeper. This moment wasn't just a goal, it was an announcement, a thunderclap that echoed across continents. This single, audacious act, executed with the boldness of a veteran, instantly transformed him from a promising young talent into a global sensation, overshadowing established superstars and emblazoning his name onto the collective consciousness of football fans worldwide overnight. It cemented his reputation as a big-game player, someone whose talent transcended club loyalties and spoke a universal language of pure, unadulterated excellence. The years leading up to his Ballon d'Or triumph were a blur of goals, broken records, and breathless commentary. Owen's peak was a crescendo of footballing artistry, a masterclass in modern striking. He didn't just score, he terrorized. Defenders would often comment on the sheer impossibility of tracking him, the way he could vanish from their sightline only to reappear ghost-like behind them, bearing down on goal. His first touch was often perfect, setting himself up for a quick shot or a devastating follow-up move. He rarely needed multiple touches, preferring to get his work done with minimal fuss and maximum impact, a hallmark of truly elite finishers. This economy of movement and thought made him incredibly dangerous in tight spaces, allowing him to pull the trigger before a goalkeeper could even react. His Ballon d'Or victory in 2001 wasn't just a recognition of a prolific season, it was an affirmation of his unique place in the game. He beat out formidable contenders that year, including the likes of Raul, Oliver Kahn, and David Beckham, all titans of the sport in their prime. The award recognized his incredible hat-trick against Germany in Munich, his crucial goals in the UEFA Cup final, and his relentless scoring exploits across all competitions. It acknowledged the sheer audacity of a young man who played with the swagger and strategic acumen of someone twice his age, consistently delivering under the most intense scrutiny. Owen was the embodiment of the modern, explosive striker, a player whose entire existence on the pitch was geared towards a single, devastating objective, the back of the net. Even his physical composition seemed engineered for this purpose. During his most prolific seasons, scientific analyses of his sprinting technique highlighted an almost unheard-of mechanical efficiency, allowing him to convert raw power into acceleration with virtually no wasted energy, a natural, innate gift akin to a finely tuned, organic machine designed purely for speed and impact. This wasn't just training, it was a biological advantage, a unique blend of fast-twitch muscle fibers and unparalleled coordination that made him a truly rare specimen in the demanding world of professional football. He was, for a fleeting, brilliant period, untouchable. Yet, beneath the glittering accolades and the thunderous applause, a quiet, insidious truth was beginning to unfurl, a subtle crack appearing in the seemingly impenetrable facade of Michael Owen's youthful invincibility. The very attributes that propelled him to such stratospheric heights, his explosive speed, his unrelenting drive, the sheer violent kinetic energy he unleashed with every sprint, were also, paradoxically, chiseling away at the foundation of his career. His playing style wasn't just physically demanding, it was fundamentally self-destructive. Every breathtaking surge, every searing acceleration, every instantaneous change of direction was a tiny, imperceptible microtrauma inflicted upon the intricate network of muscles, tendons, and ligaments that comprise the human body. He was running not just against defenders, but against the very limits of biological endurance, pushing a human frame designed for sustained movement to perform repeated, violent acts of extreme exertion. The whispers began subtly at first, a hamstring tweak here, a groin strain there. Then they grew louder, becoming a litany of injuries that seemed to target precisely the engine that made him special, his legs. It wasn't a single, catastrophic tackle that derailed him, it was the cumulative toll, the silent erosion of soft tissues, the repeated tearing and repair that eventually compromised the integrity of his physical prime. Each injury, though treated and seemingly overcome, left an imperceptible scar, a tiny fragment of his explosiveness shaved away. The unnerving realization slowly dawned that his greatest weapon, his unparalleled speed, was also his Achilles' heel, a double-edged sword that, with every golden moment, brought him closer to its inevitable, blunting edge. There's a peculiar dread in witnessing such raw, untamed talent burn so brightly, only to know that its brilliance is inherently unsustainable, a fire consuming its own fuel at an alarming rate. It's the unsettling thought that perhaps, for a player like Owen, the ascent to the very peak was always destined to be tragically brief, a fleeting flash of lightning across a darkened sky, spectacular but ultimately transient. This wasn't just bad luck, it was the inescapable consequence of his unique physiology and relentless style. His body, fine-tuned for devastating bursts, was never truly designed for the brutal, week-in, week-out demands of top-flight football across multiple competitions, especially with the added pressure of being his team's primary offensive weapon. The game's increasing physicality, combined with his own relentless attacking impetus, formed a perfect storm. It becomes a chilling thought, did the very nature of his genius condemn him? Was the Ballon d'Or, the pinnacle of individual achievement, also the silent, echoing warning that the price of such precocious brilliance would be paid in the currency of compromised longevity? The most unsettling aspect wasn't the injuries themselves, but the creeping dread that his body was actively, methodically dismantling the very player the world had come to adore, a silent, internal sabotage that no amount of training or medical intervention could truly halt. The unstoppable force was slowly, agonizingly, becoming less so, not through external opposition, but from within, a ticking clock hidden beneath his seemingly invincible facade. Michael Owen's story is therefore not just one of triumph, but of a profound, almost unsettling paradox. He achieved football's highest individual honor at an age when most are still considered apprentices, reaching a zenith that many legends never touch. His name is etched into history as a testament to what explosive speed, sharp instincts, and unwavering confidence can achieve. Yet, his career also serves as a stark, unspoken cautionary tale, a vivid illustration of the brutal demands of elite sport, and the often invisible cost of pushing the human body to its absolute limits. His legacy is one of dazzling highs, unforgettable moments of sheer brilliance, but also carries the subtle, lingering scent of what might have been, a potential not fully extinguished, but definitively altered. The unstoppable force found its only true adversary not in opposing defenders, but in the relentless, unforgiving march of biological attrition, a battle waged in silence, behind the glare of floodlights, far from the roar of the crowd. He delivered on his promise of becoming a world beater, but the terms of that delivery were far more expensive than anyone, perhaps even he, could have ever truly anticipated. Sometimes, the highest peaks conceal the steepest, swiftest declines, the price of glory quietly exacted by the very essence of its pursuit.